guys. America, America First Brothers. We are back this week. You got Dave Marshall here and my brother.
I'm still laughing at what you told me about old Maxine Waters. That's what I'm laughing about. We'll tell you about that later.
Walt Blackman.
Yes. What's happening, everybody?
What we want to address this today is our border crisis that we have, the incursion at our borders, not just here in Arizona, but also in Texas. But Texas is getting hammered worse than we are. So I know there's an interest in the nation. I know there's an interest in Texas and Arizona specifically. So we're gonna spend some time talking about that and allowing you to hear from us and to see what we think about it.
Well, first of all, when the Democrats were saying that President Trump was doing nothing about the border crisis, it was at a record low. Now it's at a record high. There's 212,000 immigrants or illegal aliens that come across the border, and 19,000 of those are kids, unaccompanied kids.
Yeah.
And so they were going down there, going to the border patrol or border facilities, and saying the kids were all in cages and this or that. And then you told me something earlier about Maxine Waters. What is she?
Maxine Waters says that just yesterday on the news, because she was down there, that this reminds me of the slave days and stuff, where the Haitians are coming across the border, the blacks are being whipped by cowboys on horses, and so it reminds her of the slave days. So I wonder how old she really is.
Maxine. Just because you was running around with Harriet Tubman don't mean you can just say something like that. No, I read that article. That guy on the horse, the Border Patrol guy on the horse, was trying to catch him. They all scattered. That's what happened. And he was closest to that one guy, and he was trying to catch him on horseback. Nobody was whipping anybody.
No. But that's the narrative. They see a whip come out, and if you understand what they were trying to do, when they're twirling their whips around, what they're doing is keeping people away from the horse. Nobody struck anybody at the border with a whip.
Yeah. But here's the big thing also. The Moroccai, what is his name? Moroccai, whatever that guy's name is.
Well, now I can't remember
the M dude, that guy, Homeland Security guy. Whatever your name is, Mayorkas, that guy. Yeah. So here's the deal on that. He finally acknowledged that the number of migrants are not immigrants, but illegal aliens that are coming across. I'm not talking about the migrants coming from Afghanistan. The illegal aliens that come across, he finally acknowledged that it's causing a problem at border towns.
Yeah.
Did you just realize that? Did he just wake up today and...
Yeah. But what he said, you're right. He said that he realized there's an issue, but he also said in another breath that this has probably been the most secure border in years.
Yeah.
I don't know what border he's talking about. Maybe Canadian border, but it's not our southern border.
He's not talking about this. And then he said a quote on Fox the other day. The situation at the border is one of the toughest challenges we faced. You know what? Stevie Wonder could have seen that coming. I'm just saying. I mean, come on, man. We've had border issues for the whole time, and particularly more after the Trump administration. They were no longer in office, but the Trump administration was building a wall, and the Biden administration, they wanted to whitewash everything, and they stopped building the wall. And this is the biggest challenge. This is a challenge. Come on, guy. Yeah, when you're letting 6,000 to 7,000 people come through a day, that's a big challenge.
Well, I think you'd have to be pretty blind and maybe no common sense whatsoever to not realize that this is a manufactured crisis.
Yeah.
This is not, this could have been stopped a long time ago. But here you're overwhelming the Border Patrol officers. These guys are overwhelmed. First of all, they're babysitters. They're like nursery keepers because they're feeding the kids. They're feeding the families. They're not protecting our borders because they're outnumbered.
Yeah.
And now Texas brings down 1,000 DPS officers, and all the vehicles are lined on the road. That's great. But what's wrong with the National Guard? Why haven't the National Guard been called down? We have the National Guard here in Arizona on the border, and the only problem that I have with that is that the National Guard, they're doing a job down there, but once you capture illegals coming across the border, you can't even send them back.
No, they're here.
Yeah.
That's like that unwanted guest in your house that won't leave.
Yeah.
And then, Christmas is over, dog. It's spring. Can you leave?
Yeah. 2 years later.
And that's what it is. I mean, how many people would leave their door open at night and just let somebody come in and stay in? And better yet, let somebody come in your house and they are positive for COVID.
Yeah. Well, where do you think this COVID explosion has come from? 40% of the illegals, they said this in a paper here a few weeks ago, 40% of the illegals coming across our southern border have tested positive for COVID, but they still release them in the interior of our country.
Yeah.
And
but we got to get shot.
But guess where they're taking them?
With the snowflake?
No, to red states.
What?
To red states. Red states.
Really? They trying to kill us off or what?
I guess so.
Oh,
and they're wondering why we have a COVID problem. And what's really makes me angry about this whole thing, the illegals, the Afghans, and the Haitians do not have to take a vaccine, but it's being forced down the throats of the American people.
Jeez. Here he also says that migrants are testing positive for COVID-19. So they know the people that they catch, they're positive.
Yes.
They're testing positive. They're sending them to red states, as you said. And a combination of rising COVID-19 rates and a rising number of migrants is straining resources in some of these communities and also these smaller towns. So I mean, we could barely handle, in this area when COVID was high, we had Summit and we had Flagstaff Hospital that were managing the patients from COVID, and they were to capacity in some case. Now we've got an influx of migrants and immigrants and the illegal aliens coming across that have tested positive, and now they have placed a strain on the system. So my question is, what's going to happen when all these illegal aliens are sitting up in the hospital for COVID, but Americans who really do have it, they don't have a bed?
Well, we're looking at that right now. I don't really think that this administration is concerned about them coming across with COVID, because Jen Psaki said, it was yesterday or day before yesterday, you can look it up on Google it. She said that with the Haitians that are coming into our country, they don't need to get a vaccine because they're not going to be staying. Well, what do you mean they're not going to be staying? You're letting them free into our country.
Where
you think they're going to Canada?
They're not coming back. They're not going back across the border. They're not coming over here to do shopping.
No.
They're coming over here to live and to make a life. And what happens is the Biden administration has made it so easy for them to stay that why would they leave? They're going to get welfare. They're going to get social programming. They're going to
Section 8 housing.
All that stuff. Why would they leave to go back to a country that has none of that and barely running water?
Yeah.
Why would they go back? Oh, now I just want to go back to my hut where there's no running water.
Well, they said that they were deporting all the Haitians that were coming here. It was reported this morning on Fox News that if you're a Haitian and you're under that bridge in Texas, that if you claim that you're pregnant without any testing to confirm you're pregnant, you can come into the country. If you claim that you have a family with you, you can come into the country. They just flew in. I didn't give a number. They refused to give a number, but a lot of Haitians to Tucson.
Yeah.
Tucson. And they said that they were deporting all Haitians, but they will not give a number of how many that they have allowed to stay in this country without being vetted.
Yeah. So this is the problem when I see when they're sending the Haitians down to Tucson. Now, again, I want to be clear. I am not against someone immigrating to this country the right way, going through the process, and being able to start a life for themselves. I'm not against that.
No.
What I am against is what the Biden administration has done and send people into the country under the cloak of darkness, under the cloak of humanitarian efforts, when it's really for political gain. The more of these people they get in this country, they know that they are going to build their base. And they build their base by letting these people getting these people in social programs such as we said, welfare and so on and so forth. So now they look at the Democrats and the social structure that they put together. They say, I think the Democrat Party is a pretty good deal. They gave me a house, they gave me food, they gave me money. I got an Obama phone. I mean, life is not difficult. for some of these people coming across.
Well,
they just have to get there, and that's where the problem starts.
Well, you said it. You said it too. That we're not against immigration. As long as you come into our country the legal ways, we have laws. Now you try going in other countries around the world illegally, you go to jail. Mexico, you go to jail.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah.
But here, we have opened the doors without any checks or balances. We have told them, Biden has told them that we want you to come here and we will take care of you. And, if you remember the campaign promises he made, that the border would be open. But they also showed some clips back from the 80s and 90s.
Build back better? Is that what?
Build back better. But from the 80s and 90s, where he even said himself that he believed that by allowing mass immigration in our country, that the Caucasian race would be a minority in a few years.
He was worried about that.
Well, no, he's pushing it.
He's pushing it?
He's pushing it.
Oh, because if you ain't black, you ain't.
That's right.
No, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. Or something like that.
What did he say? What was the saying again?
If you don't vote for me, I don't know, whatever. If you vote for Trump, you ain't black. I guess that's the bottom line is. Here's the deal. Every since Biden has been in office, the illegal rate of crossing the border has risen every single month. Now, he's been in there for 8 months, going on 9 months.
Yes.
So you figure that has gone, just this month alone, 11 million. Since he stepped into office, 11 million undocumented illegal crossings are in our country. Now that is alarming, especially when we don't know who they are. We don't know. Some of them haven't gotten the COVID test. Some of them are criminals. And I said it. Some of them are criminals. Some of them come across the border and they're criminals. Not all of them are criminals. But the pictures that I've seen, when I was at the border, when you have squad-sized teams crossing the border in the dead at night, wearing backpacks, wearing camouflage, and carrying an AR-15, they're not coming over here to get a job. They are coming over here to do harm to our country. And also, when they are coming across, what's going back across? Human trafficking of our kids here in Arizona.
Yes.
That is what's happening. That's the reality of it. But the left, the Biden administration, those who believe in this open border policy, they don't care about this.
No.
They don't care at all.
It's Americans last under this administration.
Yeah. Well, he proved that in Afghanistan.
It's Americans last under this administration.
Yeah.
Well, and also you think about this. Like I said, we have our southern borders are being encroached. There's an incursion of illegals coming across the border. We don't know who they are. We know the cartel has a part to play in this, but we also have, again, you mentioned the Afghans. We have all the Afghan people that have been flown in, and come to find out, most of them weren't even our allies.
Oh, no, they weren't.
They weren't our allies.
They just got on the plane.
But get this. This here, let me see if I can pull this up here. Just recently, one of the military bases, 2 Afghan men were arrested for raping a minor on a base.
Here in the States.
Here in the States. For raping a minor. Being charged on a federal offense because it occurred on a military base. And again, they don't know who they let into this country. They don't know who's coming across the border.
Well, yeah. Why would they care? I mean, 11 million have come across since he's been in office. Why would they care who comes over in the aircraft? They don't care. It's all about power to them. They want to create a system that's relied upon the government, and the federal government, the Biden administration, has come in and done awful things with this policy of the immigration policy. It's broken. It's broken to the point to where if we don't get in there and fix it, we are going to continue to see a rise in immigration or illegal processing in the states.
Well, right now, I think that what we need to do, especially for Arizona, we need to protect Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
We need to protect Arizona. One of the ways, and you guys out there may not like this, but I think it's an awesome idea. We've got the National Guards on the border.
Yep.
We have some Border Patrol agents there, but most of them are babysitting right now.
Yeah.
But
they're babysitting a screen.
There's an awesome sheriff from our community who retired, who is now running for mayor of Fountain Hills by the name of Sheriff Joe.
Oh, is he running for mayor?
He's running for mayor of
Sheriff
Fountain Hills.
Joe. Oh, man.
But he had a great idea. Why don't we put a tent city in the desert close to the border? Because if you detain each one of these illegal immigrants that come across the border, identify them, and arrest them, if they have to go to the court system and they're adjudicated through the court system and found guilty of trespassing or whatever the federal laws are, because they're violating our federal laws, they cannot become citizens.
And here's the deal. As soon as you put up that tent city, the left's going to go crazy. They're going to go crazy with the lie, like with the cages they were saying that President Trump was keeping these kids and people in.
Cages?
Oh, yeah, Obama's cages. They won't tell you
cages.
that. They won't. And Obama was probably trying to turn. You know how he turned. He's sitting up in the room, and what his wife come in, and he's not supposed to be watching something. He tried to turn it real quick. When that comes on the news, he's Obama cages. He's trying to turn it off real quick. See, here's the deal, though. They won't go back and say that. They'll just say that these were Trump policies, and they weren't. These were in place. These were in place when Trump came in, and if we look at the 34% of the people that are coming across are single male, yes. And I think you talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Single war-fighting age males that are unaccompanied, that are coming through our country, and some of them are coming from the Middle East, and some of them coming from the South America. These are people, not all of them are coming to get a job, ladies and gentlemen. These folks, some of these people are coming across to create havoc, like those two people who raped that kid or whoever on that military base.
Well, also, too, was it 2 weeks ago, they said they've already detained, I think it was 100. You have to look it up. I may be wrong with the number, but I believe it was 100 Afghans who they believe were Taliban that flew over. We brought over on our plane. So if they detained 100 out of 60,000, they said, I think it was more over 100,000 because it's 123,000 they said they brought over.
That's just who they caught.
Yeah.
That's just who they caught.
So if they brought 123,000 over, and so far you've detained 100 who are possible Taliban, how many more on those flights are actually Taliban, and how many more are really coming here for the American life? Yeah,
and then they're not talking about the kids now.
No.
There is an 8% increase of kids that have come across the border unaccompanied. Now these kids are being trafficked. Now here's my problem with this whole mess. Again, I am for legal immigration, but when we have people in our town and Snowflake who have paid taxes, who open businesses, who employ people, free, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say the name, but they can't even get a darn visa, or is it what?
Green card.
They couldn't even get a darn green card.
Yeah.
And they pay taxes.
Yeah.
And they've been here longer than most people, and they can't even get a green card. But you're having people come across at record numbers, no vetting, just come on through, and we're not even doing anything about it. But these folks can't even get a green card.
But also promising them green cards.
Yeah.
Now, we have in our community here, Snowflake Taylor.
Yeah.
We have Hispanic friends, brothers and sisters in the Lord who have been here for 10, 20 years, who have work permits to be here, who can never cross back across the border to see their loved ones, their moms, their dads, or siblings, but they can't even get a green card.
They can't get a green card.
They have businesses, like Walt just said. They run businesses. They hire people. They pay taxes.
Yeah.
And they can't get it. But if you come in illegally, hey, you can get whatever you want from this administration.
You sure can. Now, according to the Washington Post, ABC poll found that 33% of Americans approve of Biden's handling the border influx. Now, we know the Washington Post is a liberal, left-leaning paper. It's a propagandist paper, and the narrative is always the same, just like another CNN to me. However, the 33% is what worries me. 33% of Americans approve of this clown's handling of the border. I would like to talk to them, and this is what I would offer them if they happen to come across our Facebook. If you're one of those 33% that approve of the border issues that are going on, what the Biden administration does, this is what I ask you to do. Why don't you invite those folks into your home?
Why don't you invite them into your community?
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, just send us your address. We'll send it to DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and maybe somebody will get it and say, oh, yeah, there's a nice little home in a cul-de-sac.
Why not send them to Biden's hometown?
Oh, he ain't going to.
Because you know they're not going there.
He ain't going to do that.
They're not going there. Let's send them to the inner cities. Let's just flood the inner cities with all these people. And again, I understand the majority of these people come here for a good life. Yeah, this is the best country in the world. And you can do a lot here. You can open business here. You can prosper here. But again, we have a system of checks and balances for immigration.
Yeah.
You must come through the right way, the legal way, because now, like Walt was just saying a minute ago, we have all these Hispanic brothers and sisters in this country who's been trying to become legal citizens. Even some of them I know have had attorneys for up to 5 years and still can't get it.
And some of those attorneys are just making money off of
Yeah, they're just, it's almost like, I'm not accusing them of robbing them, but it's like they're robbing them.
They are.
We're just going to string this along as long as we can.
Yeah. But
so if you've been here 10, 11 years with a work permit, you're paying taxes and stuff. You own businesses.
But you can't
why
get a green
can't
card.
Why can't you get your green card?
But you can sneak across the border, or just walk across, and then you're going to automatically get that green card. Now, I will say, with that number of 33% of Democrats who approve of his handling of the border, 50% or 51% don't approve. Now, this is Democrats. 51% Democrats don't approve, and then the numbers also climb up to 90% of Republicans don't approve. This is a midterm election, so I'm hoping to see those numbers carry over into the election, because if we don't change this, if the House and the Senate don't make a change, if we don't keep the majority in the state house where you're going, if we don't keep these majorities, we're going to see these type of policies trickle down to the state, and where the state is going to be on the hook with a lot of these issues that we see coming on. And then we got the governor's race in 2024, and you already know that's going to be a highly contested race with the Secretary of State now in office that's running for governor. You know, she's for open borders. She's a Biden fan. So it's just going to be something to watch.
Yeah, see, they're all for open borders until they all get here.
Yeah.
Until they all get here.
I'm telling you, Dave, we need to let these people come to these people's houses. I'm serious.
You know what? My idea, they're loading them up on buses and dropping them off in neighborhoods, like you said, under cover of darkness. Why don't we go rent a couple Greyhounds and take them over to Biden's neighborhood?
Take them to
see how his constituents feel about it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. They're not going to want to do that, because that's just how they do things. The left will paint a picture as the Republicans are this monstrous people who don't care about humanitarian issues, don't care about the kids that are coming across. We only care about capitalism and so on and so forth. And that is furthest from the truth. We just want our country to be secure.
That's it.
There is no place in the world that you can go and just stay and have an influx of immigrants or illegal immigrants just come through their borders. You just can't do that. I don't understand why we're the only country that does that.
I think people need to look at Germany. They need to look at Switzerland. They need to look at Austria, when they had that influx of boat people that came across here a few years back.
Yeah.
Their crime rate has almost tripled. In some places just double, but some tripled. But rapes and murders and all this, and these are all of the immigrants that just came across boats, and they allowed to come in because of using the term asylum.
Yeah.
Now, Sheriff Lamb,
good
he's
guy.
doing an awesome job down there. He's using his jails, and he's actually arresting a lot of them and come across illegal. But the jails can only contain so many people. And that's why my suggestion about the tent city, I know a lot of people are going to hate it, especially the left's going to hate it. But you know what? They're breaking the law. Are we a nation of laws? Do we enforce our laws, or do we only enforce our laws when it applies to an American citizen and not those who illegally come across our borders?
Yeah, and they do that. It's a double standard. The left has always been part of a double standard. The left has been part of a hypocrite system of programming. I guess if they are that far left and strung out like that, they take a test and see if the hypocrite test. And that's the problem. When we have a government that does not care about its citizens, then everything else is icing on the cake for them.
Yeah.
You can leave behind American citizens in a war-torn country where they cut off people's heads. Why would they care about anybody in this country? And they've shown it. They've shown it through open borders. They've shown it through their abortion policies of late-term abortion. They have shown it time and time again. But we have to bear some of the responsibility of this as conservatives, Dave, because I say that because we know what they're going to do. They do it all the time. It's not like a surprise. You walk in a closet and there's this person that jumps out. We know what they're going to do. Yeah. We knew their agenda. We know HR1 is coming down. That's bad policy of federalizing elections. We know they want to defund the police. We know they want to keep the borders open. We know that. And what do? We're the wait and seer sometimes. We want to wait and see what happens. Well, this is what happens when we wait and see.
Well, I think the issue, too, you're talking about waiting and seeing. I think our party is more concerned with 2022, but when they should be concerned with what's happening today. We need to deal with what's happening today. 2022 is still a year off, but we have an issue today in our country. We have an issue in Arizona. And, and now we're bringing, again, we sound like we're attacking these immigrants, but we're not attacking these immigrants. We stand on the laws of our land.
Yes.
And if you're going to break the law, you should be arrested and you should be deported. But if you want to come across the border doing it the right way, we welcome you with open arms.
The right way.
The right way.
The right way.
But again, here, let me share this with you real quick. The Haitians, they're lined up over in Cuba. And they're waiting to come over. They interviewed a couple of Haitians yesterday, and their words were that they're here because they felt that they were invited by President Biden.
Invited?
Invited.
This look like a barbecue or something?
Yeah, we're going to his house, or you hang out on the beach, whatever. But here, the Western Journal reports this. This just happened the other day. Biden's border crisis explodes as Haitian migrants take control of an ICE transport bus. They hijacked a bus when it was en route back to supposedly to the airfield to deport them. But that doesn't end there. Biden's incompetence. This is the Patriots alert. Biden's incompetence strikes again. Haitian illegals assault U.S. pilots and ICE officers on the tarmac in Haiti when they were dropping them off.
Oh my goodness!
These are the people that the 33% or the 50% of liberals want in our country. Mm-hmm. They can't even respect our own laws. Now, real quick, you were talking about this percentage. They had a poll today. 43% approve of what Joe Biden's doing today.
Oh my gosh!
But
that's overall.
And I'm trying to remember. I believe it was 67% of independents disapprove.
Whoa, that's not good
at all.
That's not good at all. But it's good for us.
But also 51% of Democrats disapprove.
Really?
Yes.
Probably because they don't want to, open up their kitchen or go into their living room and you got a bunch of people sitting up in there that just crossed the border.
Well, let me ask you this. Where is Mark Kelly
and
Kirsten Sinema on this?
Yeah,
have not heard a word.
Exactly. And Tom O'Halloran.
Are they our representatives in this state?
They're supposed to be.
So why aren't they on the front lines? Why haven't they come down to the border? Why haven't they done a press release or something to say where they stand on this? Because I hear whispers.
Yeah. Well, I don't even hear whispers. I hear nothing. So yeah, you're right. We've got three. We got Tom O'Halloran, we've got Kristen Sinema, and we also have Mark Kelly, the two senators and the congressional guy in our area who's supposed to represent us in CD1. We're CD1, and you don't hear anything about it.
No.
They didn't come. I know that O'Halloran didn't come out against when there was issues with the Americans that were trapped overseas in Afghanistan. I haven't heard anything about this. And every single day, the numbers continue to increase. And every single month since Biden's been in office, the numbers increase. And they are, and they go through their old trick. They got a new trick in their trick bag. Did you know that?
Deflection?
Well, yeah. Well, it's deflection. But they got a new one. So it was racism. Every time they was getting beat across the head, they go, racism! They cry that. Now they cry COVID. And they cry COVID not because it isn't real, because they cry because they know it will take your eye off the ball.
Deflecting.
It will deflect, and think about it. As soon as the administration came out with the bad policy of Afghanistan, what did Biden do? He came out with the COVID deal.
The
vaccine. Yeah. Now, when we're going to start to see this stuff in the news, we're going to start to see more assaults and on people in our country. You're going to see Biden just come on out to the podium, and he's going to say something about COVID because it's deflection. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to get our eye off the ball. They want to make sure that they overtake this country by us not watching what's going on.
Well, and again, not just about the border either. They're not trying to deflect just from the border, but they're still trying to deflect from Afghanistan.
Yeah,
that betrayal of our American soldiers and the American people that they left behind.
Yeah.
So here it's the vaccine's a big thing now. The $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, the pork laden bill. the Democrat Dream package,
Yeah.
and all these things. What I encourage you to do before we end this session here is that get on your phones, get on the internet, and email Cinema, email Mark Kelly, O'Halloran. Let them know how you feel about the incursion in our country.
Yeah, and they're not going to their homes. They're coming to our towns.
Yes.
They're coming to where we live at. And again, not saying that everybody in that group is bad. However, there are bad people because it's been proven. We have people that have raped American minors?
Yes.
American minors on military bases. They've molested pilots on the airfield trying to get out to Hades, the Haitians. This is not going to end well for anybody. And particularly, it's not going to end well because we have open borders. And as long as we have that, we're going to have problems.
And again, it doesn't boil down, and Walt's right, every one of these people aren't bad. You're always going to have a bad mixture. But it has nothing to do with bad or good. It has to do with the laws of our land.
The laws.
If you're not going to follow the laws of the land, we don't want you here. We want you to come in the right way. Yeah, we have a great country, an awesome country, and there's so many benefits to living in the United States of America. But do it the right way.
Don't break the laws.
So, hey guys,
I think that was pretty good.
we're gonna call it quits right now.
Mr. Beard, how did we do? Are we at 30?
31.
Oh, well, we got better. They got better.
But you guys, again, we encourage you to contact your representatives in the White House and in the State House. And again, don't try to be cordial with them, but be firm.
Be firm with them.
Because this is our state.
Or when they come to town halls, if they do town halls, those questions should be asked.
It should be asked. And again, we don't want to be like, the radicals and yelling, screaming, cursing at them, but we want to be firm.
Right. Now, before you check out, what I want you to do is go to the bottom of the page, hit subscribe to the America First Brothers on the YouTube, and also make sure that you follow our page on Facebook, the America First Brothers, where you'll be able to get a lot of this information in a timely manner. Good.
Hey, guys, checking out. Thanks for spending time with us. We'll see you next week.
All right, now, take care, everybody.